A recent study published in JAMA Network Open shows that smartphone sensors can detect behavioral patterns linked to mental health issues. By passively tracking actions like movement, sleep, and phone usage, researchers identified shared behavioral markers across various disorders, suggesting a common factor called the P factor. This article relates to several cognitive psychology concepts discussed in our lectures. First, it reflects the idea of goal-directed categorization from the categorization W7L1A slides, where context and task relevance shape how we classify behavior. It also ties into modularity of mind from categorization W7L1B, suggesting that mental health symptoms may activate domain-specific cognitive systems. Finally, the study critiques DSM-5 diagnostic categories, echoing our discussion on linguistic relativity from language W8L16, how language shapes perception and categorization of mental illness. Defined concept goal-directed categorization refers to the flexible way humans organize information based on task demands and context rather than fixed rules or prototypes. As shown in the ballroom inflator versus alpha categorization study, people perform better when categories are meaningful and relevant to their goals. This concept was covered in the categorization W7L1A lecture, where we explored how categorization shifts depending on context and prior knowledge. The smartphone study mirrors this by showing that behavioral data becomes meaningful when interpreted through the lens of psychological goals, like identifying early signs of mental illness. To study this phenomenon, we should and could design a naturalistic behavioral study using smartphone sensor data from participants over maybe a 2-week period. We'd categorize behaviors, for example, sleep patterns and mobility, and correlate them with self-reported mental health symptoms. Using factor analysis, we could list and test whether these behaviors cluster around a latent variable like the P factor, supporting the idea of goal-directed categorization in digital psychiatry. That is all. Thank you.